let's go ahead. We'll get started for today. Like always, go ahead and get nice and comfy, nice and cozy in your positions, however that is for you today. We'll start closing our eyes, just settling into the space for today. It's our first day back in a couple weeks. This feels so good. Go ahead, roll your neck around to get started. Roll those shoulders if you need as well. Back and forth. Yawn if you need, stretch. Just get your body ready for some rest, some relaxation. And then go ahead, start to shift your focus onto your breath. Simply beginning to notice how it feels to breathe in present time and present space. We don't have to change our breath at the moment. We're just noticing what's present, noticing what feels right now. Just observing our natural breath. As we inhale nice and slowly, and as we exhale nice and slowly as well. Now let's go ahead and start to elongate our breath. Here we'll breathe in nice and slowly through the nose. Breathing out nice and slowly through the mouth. And on that exhale, I want you to be able to hear the breath leaving your body. So you don't have to be loud, you don't have to make a sigh. I just want you to hear that air as it flows out of your body. Just feeling the completeness of that cycle of the breath. Noticing as it flows into the next inhale. Again, breathing in nice and slowly through the nose. Breathing out nice and slowly through the mouth. One breath at a time, time and time again. If you notice any thoughts, any distractions coming into your experience, just allow them to be. Let them come and let them go. There's no need to feed them, no need to fertilize them. Or just notice, allow them to be like little bunnies. They're here for the moment. Just recognize that, and then let them pass on by. And we can do so by returning that focus back onto the breath. Time and time again, noticing the inhale nice and slowly through the nose, noticing how that turns next into the exhale nice and slowly out the mouth. One breath into another. As we continue breathing, I just want you to notice, to check in for a moment on how soothing this breath feels. Just noticing the spots of sensation of rest within your body, spots of relaxation in your body. If there's any points of tension, see if we can breathe into those spots, almost visualizing the breath working through any kinks, any stress that we're holding on to, dissolving that stress, letting that stress wash away, fall right off of us. And if there's no points of tension, then celebrate that. Celebrate how good it feels to breathe. Celebrate how good it feels to take this time for yourself. Just celebrate the fact that we have this time together right now. Continue that focus on the breath. Again, breathing in nice and slowly through the nose. Breathing out nice and slowly through the mouth. Just continuing to notice the sensation of calm. See for a moment if you're holding any tension in your face. Oftentimes, the face, the head becomes one of those spots that we try to grasp onto, and stress loves to live up there. We tend to recognize it when we kind of furrow our brows, right? We're squinting our eyes, we're grinding our teeth, or clenching our jaw, or even raising our shoulders, even bringing our neck forward when we're staring at a computer for too long. So, just for a moment, let's kind of reset that part of the body. So let go of any stress, any tension you might be holding in your forehead. Just allow that to dissolve. Let go of any tension in your eyebrows and your eyes themselves. Unclench your jaw. Let your tongue rest in your mouth. Pull your neck back. Let your shoulders fall to the ground. Just relax. Allow yourself to rest. If you need to de-stress, detension again, go ahead and do so now. Again, let go of any tension in the face, let go of any tension in the hands and the body. Just allow yourself to settle into this calm, safe space. Just allow your body to relax. Allow your body to settle. As we continue breathing, I just want to share something with you. Last week, I was listening to a podcast episode that was talking about emotions, and they shared some interesting research where psychologists have studied and learned that human emotions physiologically pass through the body in 90 seconds. And so if we notice that we're feeling angry or sad or happy or joyful, that emotion itself, if we don't feed it and if it doesn't have external stimuli, it'll pass through within a minute and a half. So the reaction that that emotion gives us will naturally work itself out in 90 seconds. And Ricky and I were talking about this last week in one of our conversations, and he brought up a really good point where, yes, and to that fact, if we've experienced trauma of various natures, like that's going to impact the length of time of that emotion. But I think that's an interesting figure to keep in mind. Um, where any emotion that we experience, it's temporary. Emotions are communication tools. They tell us something. They're like a signal. And so keep holding that in mind over the coming week as you need. And it's really powerful too, because we can take that in the opposite direction, where if there's emotions that we don't want to feed, we don't have to feed them. So, for instance, anger often doesn't feel super great. And so we can notice when we're angry, but then we can also discern that we don't have to continue feeding it if we don't want to feel that. But on the opposite side, if there are emotions that we do want to feed, like gratitude, hope, happiness, then we can continue to give them fuel to elongate the feeling that we feel with them. So I want to do that here throughout the rest of this meditation. And an emotion that I've been sitting a lot with recently is appreciation. Very similar to gratitude, but I love the linguistics, the language of appreciation. To appreciate something is to hold it so gently with care and tenderness and compassion, something that we have identified to hold value for ourselves, that we want to protect, that we want to honor and cherish. And so let's play around with feeding that feeling of appreciation. So I want you to think of something of recent timeline that you appreciate. Maybe it was spending time with a loved one. Maybe it was a work project that you're super jazzed about. Maybe it was a conversation that really struck your heart. Maybe some time in nature. Just think of whatever comes to mind, something of recent timeline that you appreciate, that meant something to you. And I just want you to visualize that you are holding that thing, that experience in your hands. You're just observing it for the value that it gave you, noticing what is it about this that you appreciate? What is it about this thing that felt so good? What is it about this that gave you good feelings, good emotions? What do you honor and cherish and value about that thing that you're holding? Just soak in that feeling of appreciation for a little bit. Notice how good it feels. For a few more moments, just continue noticing and playing with that feeling of appreciation. Just recognize how good it feels. More that we feel, the more that we feed this emotion of appreciation, the stronger it gets, the longer we feel it, the more joy we can get out of that experience. Even in hard times, there's always something to appreciate. That doesn't mean that we're ignoring the bad or the hard. We want to validate that and be with that as we need, but shift the focus and the attention onto what we want to grow. I just want to say that there's so much that I'm appreciative of, but one of those things is this space here. This time that we get to spend together is so enriching. And it's wild to think that we will never have this same time again. We'll never have this same meditation, the same conversation. We'll have other ones, we'll have more, but we'll never have this exact one again. And that might sound scary, but it's actually incredibly liberating because it allows us to just soak this time in right now. And I'm just so grateful that we have this time, that we're all here together, that we can cultivate the shared space, the shared energy. So just soak that in for a moment too. So much good. Righty, let's wrap up what we're spending time with in that space of appreciation. Imagine as you're holding it, you're gently letting it flow into a river, seeing it continue on its journey. Let's take a few more deep breaths, breathing in through the nose, sighing on the exhale. Do two more of those big breaths. One final one. Great job, y'all. Let's roll our neck around again one last time. Pull your shoulders as you need. Gently starting to feel the body wake back up. Wiggle your fingers and toes. No rush, but when you're ready, we'll go ahead, open our eyes.
That was a really
Yeah,
good one.
it was. Christine, you always look like a 2 or 3 year old waking up from an afternoon nap when you come back up.
That's honestly the energy. Like, especially this time, the parts, it doesn't happen all the time. The parts in like a meditation when you're like, you've completely forgotten about your body and time, and then you just go, like, you weren't sleeping, but you were like, I wasn't doing anything. Like, everything was just empty. And that's really
Mm.
nice. That was one of my appreciation things. I was like, I appreciate being able to completely let go of literally every thought in my head
Mm.
because I cannot do that normally. Unless
Mm.
I'm like actually sitting down and meditating like that, I can't let go of thoughts. So it's so magical. And then I'm always like, time? Couldn't tell you. If you told me it had been 3 hours, would have believed you.
Mm.
I don't know. 20 minutes, would have believed you. I don't know.
Yeah.
It's the only time that we encourage dissociation, I guess. And
Right. Permissive dissociation. Yeah. Yeah, it is so cool. Like the fact that we can do that, that we have that ability, because like that's a skill. That's a skill that like takes time to develop to know what that like the nuance of what that feels like and how to get there. But yeah, when we can have those moments, even if it's for a split second, like whoa, that's cool. And then just that reminder that, oh yeah, I have this. Like I can cultivate that within myself as I need. Sometimes it might take extra work, but like it's there somewhere that I can go to that place when I need. Super cool.
It's so cool. It's like it really is like a superpower. It's like
Mm-hmm.
literally couldn't tell you where I was, other planet, no thoughts. That's like such a hard thing to do.
Yeah.
You're always like, and tomorrow I have to do this, and all these things are going wrong. And what about this? Are you meditating wrong? Oh, no. You know what I mean? You have all
Mm.
those thoughts, so it's nice just like have zero thoughts.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah. Sometimes something that's really helpful with like stimulating that, like if you're meditating on your own, is like the visual like being out in space. So like space is such a symbol of like void. And so, even if you think of like a good transition with that is, as you start breathing, like visualize yourself in a rocket ship. Like you're strapping in, you have all your equipment on, the rocket ship's taking off. As you're doing that, you like elongate your breath. And then once you're in space, then like open up the rocket ship and just allow yourself to float. Like that type of floaty language, like void language, is really helpful for just like settling into nothingness. Um, it's
I
really cool.
I do that in a bubble like Glinda. So that's
Yeah.
my very
Oh,
weakness because I like to be able to see.
I
So
like
Yeah.
that.
I've never thought of that analogy before. And I
Mm-hmm.
love Star Wars, so like I really think I should have by now.
Yeah.
That's genius. I've never thought of that.
Mm-hmm.
The
Yeah.
Glinda
it,
bubble just makes it better.
it
Da, da,
depends on like
da.
sometimes it's space, sometimes it's like the ocean, like that I'll just float on, but it
Oh yeah. Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
just something
Mm-hmm.
very vast.
Yeah. 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 Super cool. Like, um, like psychologically, like when we can play around with symbols and like imagery, like it gives the brain something to latch onto that it can, and it takes us back to like 10th grade English of like figurative language, all that stuff.
Yeah,
Um,
right.
but like it gives us just like, oh yeah, I can get hooked onto this thing and this thing has meaning. Um, but anything can be the meaning that we make of it, which is kind of cool too. But so much fun stuff to play around with.
That is so cool. Yeah, because honestly, normally I think of like a meadow, and then eventually all the elements just disappear, and it's just sky, which is
Oh,
not that different from space.
yeah, I like that.
Like starts as a meadow, and then eventually everything you stop thinking about the meadow, and all of a sudden you're just everything is just sky.
Hmm.
I have to do
That
something more.
makes less sense.
I'm too ADHD for that. Like I get distracted when I start thinking of something that has like other stimuli. So I'll get
Right.
like really fixated on like trees moving or weird things.
Grass and bunnies and yeah.
The fog.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Actually went and found that study and read it. It's very
Oh,
interesting.
is it?
Yeah, I'll try to find it. I think I saved it.
Yeah, I'd be super interested to see more of the like the actual science behind it. Um,
It's good science. It's kind of what I wanted to check out, but uh,
yeah.
yeah, it was really good. And I was telling Chris about it, and I explained it to him like, so your feelings are kind of like the two guys that get pushed in the middle, and everybody wants to fight. Like left it alone, they would probably just like go their separate ways. But like all the external, fight, fight. Uh, that's
That's a
kind of
good.
how I pictured it. So
Ooh, that's a good way to think about it.
Wow.
I like that. Yeah, after like hearing that last week, I've just been noticing like when those emotions kick in. Like I weekends are always just kind of tough for me. Like I just it's gonna sound overly dramatic, but I just realize on the weekends like how lonely I can get. But like if I feed that, like I can go deep with it. But when I notice it, I'm like, oh, like this doesn't feel good. So I don't have to give it more energy than it needs. And then yeah, like if I'll redirect it, all of a sudden, like that feeling kind of goes away, but it'll come back 2 minutes later. Then I'm like, fuck, don't feed it again. Like,
Yeah.
I think that's the key with it too, is that like it's repetitive. Like
yeah.
continuously don't feed what you don't want to feed. That's